Nobody hugged me. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the always informative, always entertaining, the Boxing Authorities. Join me at the desk, as always, Roger Troutman and Marvin Gaye. All right, you know who we are. Okay, mailbag requests. So we listen to our fans. We appreciate you. Victor from, this will be a fun show. They're always fun shows. But you guys have asked for some specific things. Do you have your notes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Specific things. Now, these are pretenders and contenders. Victor from Rhode Island. We've kind of done this before. We haven't done it in a long time. He gave us some names and some very good names that we're going to go over. First one, Mr. Dupree, Rolly Romero, pretender or contender?
Well, we know he couldn't spell either word, but
You're getting like him now.
but I think Rolly is a pretender. He has power. He has a great mouthpiece. He can talk it. He makes sound effects when he punches. And he gets decisions. And he has Floyd Mayweather in his contender, so in his corner. So I still say he's a pretender, though.
Not going to be. And we say
But actually, he's a champ right now. He has a 140-pound belt. That's true. And he may get a pay-per-view event, his second one.
But in your head, you say champion?
I say pretender because I see way too many flaws, too flat-footed, does everything wrong, and he's very awkward and not great about it. I say a pretender, but somehow he's a belt holder.
Because he can talk.
Can
he fix it?
No, there's no fixing
Think about it, Lou.
There's no fixing
Think about
Rolly.
it. All right.
He is what he is, and he's going to make some decent money because he's entertaining. You know, he's entertaining, and he's wild. You never know what's going to happen. There's always some hype around him. He goes to events. People want to talk to him. Everybody's interviewing
Do you like
him.
watching him fight? I do.
I do, because you never know. He might slam somebody. He might pile drive, throw an elbow. You never know. I like it, though.
Mr. Frazier, pretender, contender?
I agree with Lou, pretender.
All right. I say pretender as well, but I do enjoy watching him fight because, as Luther hit it on the head, you don't know what you're going to get. He's not boring. He's not boring,
No,
right?
he's not. No, he's
Either
not.
in the fights or the press conferences.
conferences.
I know both of you are big. Well, all three of us, but most of you guys are big on the press conferences. He'll sell the fight.
Yeah.
He'll sell the fight. He did that with
Tank Davis.
Tank. And he did all right there for a little bit.
Yeah. I think he was winning some of those rounds.
Yeah. Your boy, Zhang, pretender or contender? And he's inching closer to a title shot.
I thought you were going to
I'll
go
start
with
with
him
you.
first. I think he's a contender. I mean, this guy is big. He's strong. He's old, but he has a lot of power. That straight left is short, quick, and powerful. I mean, you know, I didn't when he fought Philip Herkovich, it was a great fight. I think he's a contender. You know, not that he's going to win a belt, but you fight him, you know you're in a fight. Look
He's
what he
got a
did
shot.
to Joyce's face.
Yeah.
I'd say he's definitely a contender.
Now, Jim,
Big bang.
Now he's, for his size, he doesn't have bad feet. Do you agree with that? Now, I'm not talking about Muhammad, obviously. Nobody had feet like that. Or Buster. But he doesn't have bad feet. A little bounce to him. He's not stiff, right? Now, for his size, does he have the power, the big punch? You know, maybe it's a bias when you have that kind of size. You think he's one big shot guy. But your thoughts on him, pretender, contender?
Well, he can hit harder than Fury, so that means he'll knock Wilder out.
Come on.
You think he can?
I think
okay, go ahead.
I think he's a contender.
Listen, do you think he can hit harder than Fury?
He hits hard, but I don't know. Fury has all that weight, and it seems like since he's been with Sugar Hill Stewart, he's using more of his power punches. He's setting down. He's not moving as much. He's coming forward, and I think that's helped with his power.
Something you always say, I give you credit for, is what? When you weigh over, what you say,
200 pounds.
200 some pounds, you got a shot. I don't think he could beat a Fury because we saw Wilder blast him and he gets up. But I think he could maybe use his size against an Usyk. And maybe, because Usyk would have a hard time, I think, kind of getting
You better
in.
say he'll beat Fury and Wilder. That's what we're talking about. We ain't talking about Fury.
I'm talking about
Fury's
belt.
the greatest.
Oh,
Fury's the greatest. of all
I
time.
give him a
Okay.
listen. I give Zhang a chance against anyone.
Wilder?
Against Wilder, no. No, I think Wilder catches him. I think he may win a few
Listen,
rounds. I think Wilder catches
Wilder
him.
can beat
Do we know what
any
kind of
chin?
chin?
We don't know.
Chin
Well,
Zhang has.
Zhang took some power shots from Philip Herkovich.
Because Hergovich hit as much as Wilder?
No, but I'm saying we know he has a chin. He's
got a
taking some
chin.
shots. And Joe Joyce hit him with some nice jabs, and he just ate it.
Okay, who's a better boxer, Wilder or Zhang? Not puncher, boxer.
Wilder can't box.
Wilder's improving, but I still would give a slight advantage to Zhang as far as boxing.
Who's got the better chin, Zhang or Wilder?
Zhang.
Listen, we
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm going to give it to Wilder.
He's starting to. The only reason why I'm giving it to Wilder is because he has the eraser. Okay, he can be losing, like we talked about last show. He can be losing by points, and all of a sudden he hits the home run. You don't think that would happen?
I think he'll turn into Bernard Hopkins and get knocked out of the ring against Zhang.
Oh, come on, Jim.
He doesn't have that kind of power.
Yeah, well, he's southpaw with very good power.
That straight
And
left is vicious.
That'll put
that
you
straight
right out
left
of the
is
ring.
vicious.
Did Fury try a little southpaw against Wilder?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I saw a lot of leaning and dirty tactics.
Okay.
But I didn't see southpaw.
Is Wilder's brother still fighting?
Come on, Jim. We
I'm
talking
just
about
asking.
Deontay Wilder.
I'm just asking.
Joe
He hasn't fought
Joyce,
since he got KO'd.
pretender, contender.
Man, I was so high on Joe Joyce, but he has not made the necessary improvements. I'm going to say, look at that eye, man. Zhang, after seeing that, no, he's a pretender.
Even though he's got a big punch.
Zhang didn't say so. Zhang said it wasn't much.
He didn't mark him up either.
No.
He didn't mark up Zhang.
I say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to stay. He's a contender. He's still a force to be played with. And he reactivated his rematch. So we'll see. Maybe he made the improvement and he's going to move his head off the line, hopefully.
The thing I like about Joe Joyce is some of these guys, after a loss, they disappear. Or they don't fight for a year and a half. Or he wants to fight again. I'm going to say he's still a contender because he's got the big right hand and he wants it. Your thoughts?
Did you say Joyce activated his rematch?
Yes. Yeah, I read
What kind
that.
of fool am I?
Fred Sanford, there you go. We were talking about that earlier.
Hey, he's old. He has to,
I
man.
say he's a contender.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Garcia, pretender or contender? Good one, Victor.
Yeah, this is very good. Before he got with Derek James, I said a pretender. Now that it seems like he's taking it serious, he's moving down the train with Derek James and Errol Spence, Jermell Charlo, and Anthony Joshua. I think he's a contender. I mean, he has the speed, he has the power, he just didn't have the fundamentals. Derek James is going to give him that. He's a contender.
Jim, when you talk as much as he did, and you write down as much as he did on social media, and I think we have a picture of him on his knee just staring at the ref, and it's almost like the ref saying, are you going to get up or not? And he doesn't. I'm not saying he was hurt, wasn't hurt. I don't know. I'm not him.
He sure got up soon as the
He
referee
may
got
have,
to 10.
Yeah, right. I'm
10?
not saying he
Oh,
doesn't
no.
have any ability at all, but boxing is a different ballgame. You have to have that mentality. When I think of Warrior, I think of Vinny Paz. I think of Evander. I think of Holmes. Got blasted by Ernie Shavers and got up. Wilder and Fury. I think of those guys. I don't think of Ryan Garcia. I didn't say he doesn't have talent, but I don't know if he wants it or not.
Well, he got
So I'm saying pretender.
he got a yellow streak down the middle of his back like Jimmy Young.
There we go with Jimmy
And
Young.
now-
Stop saying Jimmy
and now-
Young beat
And
George.
now you're talking about a guy that rarely fights, and now you're coupling him up with Charlo and Spence. So you know
Yeah,
he ain't gonna fight.
right,
He's
that's
got
not
to
exactly-
fight, man.
You're
So-
talking about pound for pound fighters. He was going to be getting work with Errol
Pretend-
Spence.
Are they going to
He's
train
a
with him or are they
contender.
not going to show up?
Yeah.
He's a
One is
content-
show up with a sling on his arm, another show up
Jim,
with
you
a-
throw somebody off the bench.
a
Jim,
broken hand.
Jim, don't you ever talk about me jumping off the bandwagon. 3 shows ago, you said he was Sugar Ray Leonard
Yeah,
Jr.
but I know he was
Now
yellow.
you're not. Come
I
on,
don't go
Jim.
with nobody yellow.
Jim, you're all over the place. He's a contender.
Would you walk down a dark alley with Ryan Garcia?
He's a contender.
We joke. We talk about Roddy Piper at the time with Frank Williams. He said, I figured once you lose a fight, pro wrestling nonetheless, once you lose a fight, that takes that oomph away from you. Now, he was big dogging it. He was walking over people. He was talking the game. He had to look the whole 9 yards. And then Tank did what he did to him. Is he going to be able to regain
Here's
that
what you guys are
confidence?
completely
Confidence is
missing.
big. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Here's what you guys are completely missing. He did all this not even training. He would go on what he wanted to. He didn't
okay,
train.
he didn't train, Luther. That's his job.
But listen, He talked his way into the biggest pay-per-view in years.
Isn't that a weakness of mentality if you don't train?
But now, and he did it all on skill alone. Now he has the best trainer in the business. You put that with his speed.
You can have
and his
the
left
greatest
hook. No,
coach.
he's a contender. You guys are wrong. He's with a great trainer. One thing we know about Derrick James, all his fighters, they have a style. He gives them great advice, and
But
we
you
see the
have-
warrior mentality.
I said this when
You think you can't get? You think you can't change your mentality? You think you think
can.
he
You can.
He can.
You can.
Well,
But
if you want to, you can do it.
if you want, there is my
Well,
point.
there's another P word we could use for him.
Oh, dang, Jim. What, polished after he's
Do you
polished
understand what
after
I'm
he's
saying?
with Derrick
Jim,
James?
You can. Everybody talks about. I think he's overrated. That's my opinion. Belichick. Well, as soon as Brady left, well, you have to have the horses.
Yeah, that's true.
As they say, if you ever see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know he didn't get there alone. You have to have the horses. I think we did a show one time. Is it the? I don't know if it was Steel City
Steel
or
City.
here.
Is it coaching or
But,
talent?
yeah, obviously you have to have both, but you need talent. You need guys who want it.
So he has the talent. He just needed to fine tune some things.
But when you have
He has
all
to get,
this-
when you're in training with Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo, Anthony Joshua, guys at the top of the game, you don't think you're going
But
to
you
get
want a
that?
wide receiver with alligator arms?
No,
matter how much talent
exactly.
they got.
Thank you. And there was
Listen,
guys who didn't have half the
Did he
talent
get
that some of those
when
guys
he got
you're
hit with
talking
that
about.
left hook by Tank? Did he get up? That showed me something. He could have stayed.
But he
on the
wouldn't get up
ground.
a second time.
He got up and fought another 4 rounds.
We talk about it all the time, and I know what he's going to say. We're dinosaurs. When Jake fought Sugar Ray Robinson, he got the hell knocked out of him. Did he not?
Can you
He
go
fought him
back?
a couple weeks later, and not only that, we didn't know this, but after a Robinson fight, because he fought him like
guys are
6
going
times, what did he
ancient
do? He
history.
fought in
Come
Forbes
on,
Field.
man.
No, heart is heart, Jim. He wanted it.
Yeah.
He did not like losing. He did not like, and he got. It isn't like he said, "I need to." And he made a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
Lamada. He didn't say, "Well, I'm going to rest up for 8-9 months, a year." No, I want Robinson again.
Yeah.
Basilia, the same thing.
Yeah.
And Sugar Ray put a whooping on you because he
Yeah.
could hit. You know, he was obviously a great stylist, but he could hit.
Yeah, he
and he
could.
pounded Jake. Remember the
Yeah.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia, to me, is a. I don't. He has some skill in the
He's
same.
about to
business.
fight for another title against Rolly on a pay-per-view event pretty soon.
Okay,
calling
I'm good
it.
with that fight.
Back
but
to
if he
back.
fights one of the big dogs, I don't think he's going to do it. He might fight Rolly for a belt, and it'll sell. It's entertaining, but I don't see him fighting the upper echelon of fighters
He's
and
with
winning a
the
belt.
best trainer in boxing.
You can have those.
He's with a bunch of warriors there. If he changes, that's
If you
all he
don't
needs to
have
do
the
is
heart
focus on his
or
training
want it. I
and
shouldn't say he
mentality.
doesn't have the heart. If you don't want it, Jim. Remember
do they
Rocky
say? Iron
III
sharpens
when
iron.
Apollo Creed kept saying, "You know what's wrong with you?
This
He didn't
ain't the
want it.
movies.
He didn't- Where do you think
This
they
ain't
got
the
it? Life
movies.
imitates art. Art
This ain't
imitates
the
life.
movies. He wants to step into the lion's den with these other lions in the camp. He gets that mentality. We're looking at
I'm
a
sorry, you
great
said
fighter.
pretender.
Yeah, pretender.
Okay.
After you called him Sugar Ray Leonard Jr.
He's allowed
Come
to
on,
change
Jim.
his mind. Okay.
He's all over the place.
Jermaine Ortiz.
Wow, Jermaine
That's a tough-
Ortiz. I thought he beat Vasily Lomachenko in that fight, and he didn't get decision. I thought it was a robbery because he
Good-looking
clearly
guy.
won.
Good-looking
I think he's a contender. At 135, he has good size, he has good skills, doesn't have the greatest power.
That's not
He
his
just
game.
hooked up with ESPN.
He's
I
still
think
with
he's a
Jimmy
contender.
Birchfield.
He's
He's
going to
gonna
get a
have
Shakur
both. He's got-
fight or Kambosos fight. He's a contender. Yeah.
Excellent comment. I put him in against Kambosos.
Great fight.
Yeah, that would be
Great
nice.
fight.
Not Shakur just yet. Your thoughts? Pretender can have it.
After I watched him on a national TV interview and he said that Loma won the fight, convinced me that he's a contender.
Because of an interview.
Jim doesn't ask
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
He looks behind
Yeah.
the scenes. I think it was again, we love Jimmy Birchfield, so he has a double barrel power now. He's got Top Rank, and he's got CES Classic Entertainment and Sports. I think you're going to hear more from Jermaine Stevens. I think he's a contender for sure. Your boy from day one, Philip Herkovic.
Listen, man, you guys aren't high on this guy. I've been high on him. You know, unfortunately, his farther past that really affected him. You know, you have a loss like that, but he's great power. He's one of the few guys that beat Zhang, Big Bang Zhang. He's right there. He has it all. Now, what I don't like, he keeps changing trainers. You know, against Big Bang Zhang, he had Ronnie Shields in his trainer.
Should've kept him.
Let him go, went back to his old trainer. I don't know how he's going to do. I still say he's a contender, though. But I would like him to stay with a trainer and really work with that trainer. He's a contender. Great power, great chin. He took more punishment than Joe Joyce through 10 rounds and got the decision.
Who's going to get a title shot? This is my question. Who's going to get a title shot first? I'll ask both of you. Zhang or Hrgovic? And Hrgovic beat Zhang.
I think it'll be probably Zhang because his name is bigger. Hrgovic maybe
Hrgovic
ranked
beat him.
higher. Yeah, but he's not, but whose name is ringing in the streets right now? It's Zhang. So I believe it's going to be Zhang.
Before you answer pretender
Jim,
contender,
you
who's
sleep?
going to get a fight first for a belt, Zhang or Hrgovic?
Well, Zhang beat the heck out of Hrgovic, but didn't get the decision, knocked him down twice. I don't know.
Once.
how.
Once was
Twice.
only counted. Only one was counted.
I think Zhang will get the shot first
I agree.
because Hrgovic got a father, a grandfather, a godfather. So
Come on,
you
man,
never
Jim,
know.
let that-
I mean, you just don't know. They just keep coming. They just keep coming, man. They say death comes in threes. So here we go.
I've said this to you guys before the show about certain fighters. Now, Pretender.
Terrible.
I'm going to say because of his age and he'll come around at the right time. I don't think he's ready yet. At the right time, once the Wilders and the Furies are gone.
And the Usyks.
Wilder's
those three.
gone now.
Well, you know,
Tim,
I think
you know,
I think
how's
Hrgovic has
he
no,
going now?
about Wilder. Wilder at least made. Okay, he didn't make Canelo money. I know that, but he made some money. Hrgovic has not fought in a while.
Yeah.
What do you have that much money that you can not fight? Big
Need him to
Baby
get
Anderson's
busy.
fighting. Zhang's fighting. Your boy Makhmudov is fighting.
Yeah.
These guys who take, you know, if you hit for a big purse, okay, 10, 15 million, and you take some time off, well, hell, you got a little bit of a cushion. But these guys aren't fighting for that kind of money. He's got to get back in the ring, and
Wilder got 8 kids and a wife. and
Jim,
only
man,
made
listen,
30
man, you
million.
do, hey, Jim,
That's
I'm
a
tired
billion
quick.
apiece.
Jim,
Yeah,
I'm
that
tired of
goes
you
quick.
disrespecting
That goes quick.
Wilder like that. You already looked it up,
But he
and you
got
got
property
proven
in
wrong.
Alabama.
You already got proven wrong, Jim.
well, my
and a statue.
and it's,
Where your statue at? Where's your statue at?
hey, everybody knows Jim. We had
In
a
the
girl
strip
come into the
club.
studio today.
That's right.
She knew
That's
him.
right. They retired his wave cap at the strip club.
That's his logo. Remember Prince had that,
Right,
that
the
logo?
symbol.
I'll ask you guys. Victor, thank you for the great
What
question.
do you got? You got Hrgovic as a pretender?
No, I have him as a contender.
contender.
Because of timing. Not right now. He's not going to fight.
You don't
He
got to
can't-
qualify. He's a contender.
I'm gonna qualify.
He beat Zhang.
You
When-
know Moses is coming up.
Who's that?
18-year-old Moses.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're the only one who mentions him. But hopefully he's
Man
good.
can't even go into a bar yet, Jim. You talking about he's the greatest ever.
How
Come
about
on.
I'll ask you some personally, Makhmudov.
I think he's a contender. And I like the way he's moving. He's busy. He may get that Jared Big Baby Anderson fight next. I think he's a contender. I like he's growing on me.
Okay. Obviously, you think he's a contender.
And I love my big baby Miller.
Okay, I was
Oh,
going to
but
upset.
come
I was
on,
going to upset him.
don't- he
that
has
was
no
my
business
question.
on here.
Is he Big Baby Miller
No,
a pretender?
no,
Come
he's
on,
not.
Luther.
He can't even get a major fight in this states now because he has that stigma the PED use. He's the
But there's
face
Saudi
of
Arabia.
PED
He can
chiefs.
sell a fight. Will a champion think he's
No.
easy pickings and he can sell a fight and they can make money?
You don't know what you're going to be fighting against. You don't know what he's taking. He still
he's
knows
gonna
the
be
big
clean.
pharma.
Two
Big
people-
pharma.
two
Stop
peop-
calling him Big Baby.
Well, it's a very religious country, Saudi Arabia. So 2 people they don't want is Moran and Wilder.
But Wilder had nothing. Stop, man.
12
Wilder-
gun salute.
Wilder got nothing but love. He even dressed. He even
That
had
was
the
before.
attire.
That was before the weed and the gun
Oh,
and
Tim,
the tinted
please.
windows.
Please.
And driving
Jim.
down the interstate the wrong way.
Is he going down the wrong way?
I think.
He made it up. It was a driver all black, Jim. That's what it was.
When we
Driving
come,
while real black.
when we come back, we have another mailbag request from William from New Jersey, the greatest brothers who box. So come on back to the Boxing Authorities. Okay, welcome back to the Boxing Authorities. Another great question or request from Barry Manilow. You said I got to throw him in. He used to have a show. He still has it. Requests from the fans. He'll ask what kind of song you want me to sing, and people would send it. It was nice. That's what we do. All right, William from New Jersey, most successful brothers in boxing. That doesn't mean they can't be white, so you can throw some white guys in there. Rank them or add your own. Now he had mentioned Spinks brothers, Charlo, Klitchko, Corey, Robert, and Mike Garcia, and I'm glad he mentioned the Terry and Orland Norris. And if there's somebody else, I mentioned Mayweather's, but
Put them in there. You got to put the Russells, Gary Russell Jr., Gary Antoine Russell. I think we have a picture of the four brothers, Gary Antoine Russell and his brothers. Very underrated. And I think Gary Antoine Russell, who's at 140 now, is the future champion, possibly undisputed. He beat Jerome Boots numerous times in an amateur. He's very, very, very skilled. But, you got to talk about the Klitschkos. They dominated the heavyweight division. Very, very poor.
They're the best brothers?
No. I'm giving my top three.
Okay.
I'd have them in my top three. Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko. They dominated. I mean, they beat some bums.
And they fought.
They fought.
They didn't. Am I right? They didn't wait 3 years. No, they fought.
Yeah, it was a sorry era, probably the worst era ever in heavyweight boxing, but they dominated.
Yes, they did.
They were tough. They used their size. They would lean on guys, big, nasty, and they had power in both hands. They were really, really tough fighters. I wish they would have fought each other.
Looked like a slinky.
Yeah.
Remember the slinkies?
Yeah.
As we see their competition, these guys didn't take much pride.
He stopped it himself. Did you see that?
These guys didn't take much pride in their body. They didn't look like great guys. They left their face wide open. It was a bad era, but they were very dominant, and I enjoyed it. But also, my favorite, the Charlos. Jermell Charlo, undisputed champion at 154. He's the king. He's cleared out the division. Jamal Charlo has held that belt, the WBC, at 160 for years. Hoping to see him get back in the ring, man. But these guys can dominate.
You see the picture of the Charlos? Okay.
He closed his eyes because they have red hair. And of course, Leon Spinks and Michael Spinks. What can you say about those guys, man? I think that was a great brother tandem. They got Jim, shaking in his boots, much like Michael Spinks did when he fought Mike Tyson.
Oh, man.
But they definitely did great things in boxing. But those are my top three.
So you didn't
I
rank
loved
them at
all
all,
three.
just-
So my favorite would be the Charlos, then the Spinks, and then the Klitschkos. Those are my top three.
Smoking?
All right, let me put my glasses on for
I got
this,
mine.
And I'm going to be real quick on this. 10C, Cindy and Amanda Serrano, both world champions. Cindy, WBO featherweight champion. I'm not a chauvinist.
He's a researcher guy.
10B, Sebastian Fundora and his sister Gabriella.
You never seen Gabriella fight.
They both fought on the same show.
You never saw that. You never saw her.
And now here we go, number 10. Rahman Ali, former Rudy A. Valentino Clay, 14-3. He was Muhammad Ali's brother. After Malcolm X got assassinated, the Nation of Islam, Herbert Muhammad ordered him to quit boxing and be Ali's gopher, best gopher ever. And he fought Ali in 72. So that opens the door for
That's
the
why the
Charlo
Muslims
brothers.
don't like you.
That opens the door for the
There's many
Charlo
reasons.
brothers.
Many. One of many.
Number 9, Mickey and Robert Garcia. Number 8,
Mikey, maybe. I call it. Most
Mikey.
people call him Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia. Number 8, Terry and Orland Norris. Number 7, and none of these would be considered pretty boy, Mayweather. Floyd, Roger, and Jeff. Floyd, I think, none of them was world champs. That's why they're so low. Although I think Floyd, if he didn't go to federal prison, would have been. Charlo brothers, number 6. Number 5.
Number 6. Ooh.
Number 5, Spinks, Mike and Leon Spinks. How about number 4? You got to go with the.
I thought you said it was going to be quick.
Yeah, real quick. Ayala's. Tony Ayala Jr.
But he never amounted. He went to jail.
Well, he knocked out.
And then that's on his brother.
He knocked out Sugar Ray Leonard's brother Roger as a 15-year-old amateur. He was 31-2 with 27 KOs, but don't forget, Paulie Ayala won the WBA bantamweight champs. Yeah,
They were cousins.
Mike Ayala was 45-6, and Sammy was 23-3.
I think you're doing cousins, Jim.
Corey, Jerry, and Mike. And
You
Bob
got them that high?
had number 3, yeah.
Wow. They didn't win a belt.
How about number 2? Number 2, Marvin Hagler and Robbie Sims.
Who Vinny beat?
Vinny beat, don't forget. Marvin Hagler, 63-3-2. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard in 87. Vito Anafirmo to a draw in 79. Willie the Worm Monroe beat him in 76. Bobby Boogaloo Watts beat him in 76. And Sugar Ray Seals fought to a draw. But Robbie Sims, 38-10, beat Roberto Duran. He knocked out Iran Barkley, and he fought to a draw against Murray Sutherland, former super
tough.
middleweight
He was
champion. And number 1, clearly, and Lou would have him number 1 if he gave credit to the white man, the Klitschko brothers. Number 1.
He did give him credit.
I said they're in my top 3, Jim.
But you know what, though? What his list is, when he mentioned Hagler and Robbie Sims, that's almost like saying, well, who's the greatest brothers in baseball?
Right.
Or well, you say the Aarons. Hank had 755 home runs. Tommy had 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we got to do something a little bit even. Now,
Jim got his own criteria.
I didn't do an order, but I will now. I'll say the Garcias. You know, Robert won the IBF Junior lightweight. He was 34-3, 25 knockouts. And Mickey was 4 weight classes, including lightweight, champ, and feather.
So number 10?
No, I don't have 10.
Oh.
I got 3, like Luke. 3 or 4. The Charlos, they've done it. I just maybe expect a little bit more from the Charlos.
Yes.
You all hate the Charlos.
No, I just want to see them fight more. I like them. What I say, they're great once they're in the ring, but you got to get in the ring.
Yeah.
Injuries. You know, Jamal Charlo, he had
That's
a
part
whole
of it.
situation. You know, personal issues. He finally got cut. Congratulations, he has custody of all the kids now.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, he
Don't
has
start with
custody-
him.
No, he does.
Don't start with him. The Spinks brothers, you know, during the Olympics, obviously they had a great career. Leon, he had his what's that guy's name in Pittsburgh? Andy Warhol said 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
He beat Muhammad, which I have
Ali.
my
You have your
comments
doubts
about that. And he came back and he lost. But then his record, I believe his final record was, do I have it here somewhere? Spinks. Yeah. 26, 17, and 14 knockouts.
crazy.
So that's not good.
17.
Yeah. So I'm not going to put the Spinks in there.
Hey, it was
And
the
Michael,
greatest era, though. Greatest era.
he fought some big
Greatest
boys, no
era.
question. So, but Michael had his run. Obviously,
Yeah.
Donnie thinks he was the greatest light heavyweight of all time, which is fine.
Got
But-
Holmes, beat Larry Holmes.
Yeah, but questionable, but he beat him.
Ah,
But
he
for
beat
me,
him.
the
Come
number 1
on.
brothers, I think right away, the Klitschkos, 45-2 with 41 knockouts for Vitaly, and Vladimir 64-5 and 53 knockouts. You have to give it to Klitschkos. And the thing is, David Hay, my boy David Hay.
Look at that. Oh, that wrestling. They would lean. They would lean on you.
David Hay, man, he was talking up and he got the hell
Oh,
knocked out.
David Hay, another overrated guy from that era.
You know what I'm going to ask you? Well, before we,
That era was
I'm going to say Klitschko's because they dominated their division. They cleaned the division out. They fought
trash.
everybody. They
That
didn't duck
division was
anybody.
horrible. That's
right.
They fought everybody and they beat everybody who's available.
They beat
And-
all those bums.
Well, but that's who was available.
That was a
I'm gonna give them
C-level
credit.
era if I ever
Let me
seen one, but
throw
they-
you guys
they're
a
in my
curve.
top 3.
And I love Ken Norton. Love Ken Norton. But I think whenever you put him in with Foreman, Ali, and I think Frazier's a little overrated. But to put Ken Norton in, who's more overrated if you think they're overrated or not?
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton or David Hay?
Well, David Hay's not going to the Hall of Fame like a Ken Norton.
You said AJ's in the Hall of Fame. Well, if AJ's in the Hall of Fame, why isn't David Hay?
David Hay's not getting. Come on, there's levels to this. You're going to compare Hay's career to AJ's?
Hayes never won a heavyweight.
Hayes never
Yeah, he
won a
was. David Hay was a
A,
heavyweight champion.
a real
Heavyweight champion?
heavyweight.
Yes, David Hay. He was a champ.
Oh, cruiserweight.
Cruiser.
He was
not a heavyweight.
I'll pull out the phone, Jim.
Oh man, I can't. I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember
I remember
him.
him getting.
He
I could
could be.
swear.
He could
I
be.
remember him getting sparked by
David Hay.
Klitschko. But
So
I
we
don't
do
remember
things
being
live.
there.
We don't play games here. Oh, shit, wrote all that stuff.
I don't know,
Good.
man. I just didn't see it. But no, Ken Norton.
I love Ken Norton.
Ken Norton don't belong in the Hall of
As
Fame.
as Ali always said, Ken Norton. He always gave Ali fits.
Don't get mad,
know,
Danielle. I'm just looking to get accurate.
Oh man.
Go ahead, Jim. Who's more overrated?
Well, both of them were. Neither of them belong in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Well, we know Hayes not going.
Huh?
Hayes not.
Okay,
going to the
2
Hall of
weight
Fame.
classes. Okay, let me get my glasses on here. We got time.
No championship.
World amateur. Hold on. Yeah, I could have swore he was a
I'm
heavyweight
talking
champ.
major,
wrong. I
not
could
one of
be
these
wrong.
regular franchise belts.
Okay,
Luther
cruiserweight,
Yeah, I
Cruiser.
remember
We're saying
Cruiser.
heavyweight. Not, okay, cruiserweight. Yeah.
unified cruiser, and heavyweight champ.
What-
WBA. He beat Valuev, that big boy. Remember that guy was like
Wow,
6'8"
okay. Wow, I didn't
Good
know
call,
that.
good
He
or
was
call.
7
Claudia.
foot. 7 foot.
He was 7 foot.
7
yeah.
foot.
7 foot.
He beat Evander too. Not David Hay, Valuev. But David Hay, he fought Ruiz. That was his first title defense. He beat him. So Ruiz, I mean,
He had it for. He had
Vander
it
had
for.
about 12
you know
losses,
what?
so-
He had a very
lost
second.
to Vladimir. That was a unification. That's why he lost his belt. But Tony, there was a Harrison. I forgot. Oddly Harris.
He
He beat
beat
the
that
hell out of
7
him.
foot guy with that big
Yeah.
head.
So he was a heavyweight champ.
Yeah, I didn't know
Wow,
that.
that's a good call, Claudia. You caught it.
So I'm a journalist.
He's still not. But Claudia, he's still not a Hall of Famer. I mean, he had a nice career,
Ken
not a Hall of
Norton.
Famer.
Ken Norton again.
Never
love Ken.
won a
He never won it in the ring.
But he beat Muhammad Ali. Sometimes that's all you need.
Twice. He kind of beat him twice. He get decision. But I mean I know we didn't get a whole lot of David Hay, but is he on the same level as Ken Norton? Maybe
Oh.
Norton because he fought.
It's
He got
the-
blown away from Foreman. He got blown away from Cooney. Muhammad beat him.
It's the
I love
era.
Ken Norton, but what did he? You're
It's
right.
the era. You know, I mean, the fact that he had a belt, David Hay at a heavyweight, that tells you how sorry.
But he was a
the division
cruiserweight.
was.
Give him a little, and he beat a man 7 foot. You got it, and he defended it a couple times.
Because he was a heck of a cruiser.
I don't see it.
Great
I don't see it.
cruiserweight.
So maybe.
So you think?
So,
if
okay,
if
when he
those
get
two
into the
fought-
Hall of
if those
Fame-
two fought, who do you taking? Ken Norton or David Hay?
But two with different weight classes.
No,
No, he was
in the
heavyweight.
That's a good
he was
question.
heavyweight. Who you going to take, Jim?
If
Ken
they both
Norton.
fight, if they
Ken
both
Norton.
fight,
I'm gonna take David Hay.
Oh my
they
God.
both fight. Would be
Now,
fight.
what would you put David Hay as a cruiserweight Hall of Famer?
Maybe.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
much
he was
better as a
dominant.
I would have
cruiserweight
to
back
study-
then.
I have
But
to
he
study
did.
that.
Michael Moore, light heavyweight and
Yeah.
cruiser, and then heavyweight. You
Yeah.
got to put him in the Hall of Fame. He's
Got
not in
to,
yet.
yeah.
But I give David Hay. I don't think he gets enough credit. Where Norton gets all kind of credit.
Hay was better than Bradley, and Bradley.
Look, okay, but
yeah,
it's also about signature wins. He
True.
was a belt holder. I've never considered a champion. I didn't even. I had
Did you
forgotten
ever
he
do
was
what
a
I asked you to
champion.
do?
About?
Did you ever watch Blue Hay?
I did watch that
And?
fight. It was an exciting fight.
Okay, thank
but
you.
I didn't think Hall of Fame when I saw
No,
it.
he lost. But Hay.
I didn't think Hall of Fame when I saw
But
that.
I've always liked David Hay. But
I think
again,
he's another overrated guy from that era.
he had the mouth, he had the look,
Yeah.
and he won.
He had a mouth, yes.
He had the look.
But that era was very poor. Nobody talks about
The
that era.
cruiserweight?
Other than
You know
other than
another
Klitschko.
guy that I think was overrated, and he beat Klitschko somehow, was Chris Bird.
Yeah.
I wasn't that
Yeah, Chris
crazy
Bird.
about Chris Bird.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that guy was now
Middleweight.
He was a middleweight, a blown up middleweight. He fought heavyweight because there was more money in the sport.
Right.
So he came in undersized, everything else,
He wasn't much.
and he didn't have much power. It was all
Yeah,
skill.
he wasn't
It was
much-
all skill.
He
The
wasn't
fact-
much at any weight class. Did
a
you?
middleweight fighting at heavyweight. That was impressive
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
and
that's
he didn't have a
impressive.
big punch.
Now, back to what we were saying, the quarries. Jerry Quarry was known for what? Being tough.
Yeah.
That's it. He lost. He beat. I think did he beat Ken Norton?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
One of them beat. One
Well,
of
had to
them
have been
won.
Jerry.
Yeah,
But the
one
other
of them
ones,
won.
I mean,
Either
Jerry.
Ken beat him or he beat Ken. I can't.
Wow, what the
remember.
hell? But Jerry was 53-9, 32 knockouts. Mike was a light heavy, 63-17. Bob was 10-12-2. So again, who gave us the question? Not Victor. William from New Jersey.
But we
I don't know
what
if I
about
put
Terry
the
Norris? Well, I know
Oh
we
yeah,
give it-
great.
Terry
Thank you.
Norris.
Terry
Norris.
Norris. That's right. Terry Norris. Forgive me. Terry was 47-9 with 31 knockouts. Three-time middleweight champ. I was so upset when he beat Sugar Ray, but Sugar Ray was done. And in Orland was 57-10 with 30 knockouts, was a cruiserweight champ, and he defended it a couple times. I want to see you defend a couple times.
Yeah.
The Norrises are, and I forgot them. They were very underrated.
Couldn't move the dial.
No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. You're right.
You know, I thought Terry Norris, I saw him. I thought he was going to be big time.
I know.
After he beat, Sugar Ray. But, I mean, he had some exciting fights. I liked his style, but you're right. He didn't blow up like I thought he would.
The bad thing about Terry Norris, though, I think he didn't take a ton of hits, but the ones he hit.
Yeah, he got hit. I mean, he had exciting fights. He was in there.
He didn't have to. He was a great athlete. I'm being a little biased. He was a very good baseball player. Good athlete.
He could
he
have
was
been
a hell
way
of
more
a baseball
defensive.
player.
He could have been way more defensive. You're right.
I talked to some scouts, some older scouts, and
Sugar Ray,
they wanted him.
Sugar Ray.
They thought he should have gone to the baseball.
He'd made money. He'd have made more money.
And wouldn't have had that taking up many hits to the head.
Yeah, exactly. But and Orland, who did fight heavyweight, he didn't do great in heavyweight.
He was a good fighter.
He was a good fighter, and he was a cruiser who defended a couple of times. And I think that's an underrated film. Now, the Mayweathers, you made a great point. Everybody thinks Mayweather. But what did Jeff do anything? You know, Roger was 2 weight class champ, yes. But Roger, did he win a belt? He didn't win a major belt. One of them won the IBO super featherweight. I mean, they didn't really blow it up.
They made their mark with Floyd.
Yes,
they made their mark
exactly.
as trainers.
So you
they're
brought
still
that up.
Training.
People would say the Mayweather family, they must have had all kind of belts. No, they didn't.
Right.
Like you said, they rode, I don't want to say they rode on the coattails,
Yeah,
but they made more of a name
Floyd-
as trainers.
Yeah, trainers. They made Floyd and then all the other, champions they birthed, including Tank Davis.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we have another. This is from Heidi from Las Vegas. So we're going to come back with her question
Vegas.
when we come back to the Boxing Authorities. Welcome back to the Boxing Authorities. Heidi from Las Vegas, the best network for boxing. So again, she said what was the best for boxing, not the most entertaining, whatever did the most for boxing. Luther, and she mentioned real quick, ABC, CBS, NBC, DAZN, HBO, Showtime, ESPN, USA, and Fox, which is everybody. Your rankings. Great question, Heidi. Thank you.
Great question. ABC, what can you say? They were huge. All these stations were great. DAZN should be on this list right now. Remove them immediately.
Yeah, I agree with you,
HBO was probably my favorite. Boxing After Dark. Mike Tyson. They used to have the best fights. Don King would have those cards loaded. You watch it on a Saturday night. Every fight these guys were going on. You had Christy Martin, Mike Tyson, all these guys on the same card. I think I'd have to put HBO number 1.
How about 2 and 3? We don't have to do all 10 or 9.
I'll go
Whatever
HBO.
You want. Whatever you want.
I think USA Network.
Yeah, very
those
underrated.
Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights,
yep.
very underrated. But you would see some guys just coming up, so everybody was hungry. You see some great fights, some guys that would be future champions. Then I'm going to go third. I'm going to say ABC.
Okay, I like that list.
I got HBO, USA Network. Then I'm going to go ABC.
Okay, I like that. Mr. Frazier.
Who was that guy that used to beat up bums in the backyard and stomp them? It's Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo
Slice.
So that was BET, right, Luke?
That was
I would
internet and
say-
social media.
I would say number 1 was if you're talking about the best network, you got to say radio because boxing was big on radio.
You always got to
for
go
years.
left field.
But
Okay.
TV.
But from needs for TV, ABC clearly. From Wild World Sports, that we've seen the amateurs on Wild
True.
World Sports.
Very good point. And Howard Cosell.
Howard Cosell.
Very
So
good.
Professional boxing and amateur boxing,
Okay.
ABC rule.
I'd say why I like HBO number 1.
Okay.
Because they did segments. They just didn't say, here's Luther and Jim. No, Luther's from here, and this is the obstacles he had to overcome. Jim had to, and they told you stories.
And
then they did pre-fight stuff.
Right.
And like when Donnie
And
and
the training
Sugar fought.
camps, all that, yeah,
Yes,
it was-
and when Donnie and Sugar, when I'm just using 2 examples, Cooney and Holmes fought, they did individual Cooney and Holmes shows. I forgot the legendary. Oh yeah. Then years later they did Cooney Holmes legendary fights. Sugar Ray and Donnie, they did prior. Then after the fight, they had Sugar Ray and Donnie in the studio, Larry Merchant.
True.
They really.
I didn't like Larry Merchant.
No,
I
but
couldn't stand
the
that
shows
dude.
were good. I mean,
Yeah.
they get HBO was
Everything
great.
was good except Larry Merchant.
And
but-
yeah, he used to get in fight, he was confrontational with
He
people.
always-
Then I like when Mayweather got
Floyd.
upset with him. But the other thing too, Luther mentions USA. Look at some of the fighters they had on it. They had Vinny, Larry Holmes, Mercer. They had up and coming guys. They had guys who were trying to get another title. They had Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
They had Mercer Holmes fight on there. They just didn't have, a great fighter against a guy who's 10-6-3. They had good fights.
Good
Me and my
fights.
dad never missed a USA card. But I'm going to go HBO 1. I'm going to go USA 2. Now, ABC, you think of Muhammad and you think of Sugar Ray and Cosell. They were big time and amateurs. So they were great, but I'm going 3. ESPN had some nice fights. Again, back Vinny signed on with them. He had a lot of big fights with them. Who else was on ESPN?
They had a belt too.
But
Yeah, they did have a belt. Yeah.
Now
Butterbean.
CBS, their guy was Donnie and Boom Boom. ABC Tyson. Yeah, NBC had Vinny on what do they call that? Sports.
Wide World.
No, that was
not Wide.
Sports World, something like that. And that was pretty good. How about you? Didn't mention Showtime.
I didn't because they
On purpose?
They came on the heels of HBO.
Okay. Didn't do
I don't think they met the big 3.
I'm with
I
it.
don't
There
think
wasn't
they
something
meant the big 3.
that who's their big announcer?
Right.
Who's their signature fight or signature fighter?
True.
And what do you think about the zone? Luther wasn't too crazy about it, and I'm with him. What do you think of it?
What is the zone? What is
The
it?
Zone.
The Zone. Eddie Hearns.
What is that DAZ?
The
Zone.
Zone.
Oh, I'm not familiar with it at all. I'm not familiar with it.
Eddie
Starting to
Hearns.
worry me.
Yeah.
He's starting to worry
He
me,
got-
Luther. Well, yeah, it's Canelo's station.
Canelo's on there.
Well, I'm familiar with him.
Whenever he starts getting that low tone, either there's a
Yeah.
girl around or something ain't right.
Or he's nodding off.
He's not enough.
What
But,
are we talking about again?
but again, USA, when they shut it down, I don't know why they didn't continue. Why didn't HBO continue?
Well, because I think they built their platform around the wrong guys.
HBO?
Yeah. They started going to the Eastern European, and I don't think they caught on with the American fan base.
HBO shut down when Roy Jones became a Russian citizen.
Well, they had some great. I love Foreman as an announcer, but they
Yeah.
had Bo Galata fights. HBO had some big
They
time
had great
fights.
fights. But
And-
I think
and
they
good pay-per-view
and look,
fights.
that's the thing. They didn't have that one star, the one American star they could get behind, and I think they
You
just
think
didn't
that's
have the
what-
sport. I think so. They were investing too much, and they didn't have the Mike Tyson, the Evander, the Roy Jones.
What about Fox?
Fox? Wasn't a Fox. They didn't do
PBC.
enough. Yeah, but
They had the
you know,
backing, top rank with ESPN. PBC's big time, but they didn't.
But see, they weren't around long enough. Fox had their moments, but they didn't really catch their niche. I don't think.
How
and they're not even
important-
doing it now.
You're
Yeah.
lumping Evander with Tyson?
Well,
No, what I'm
Evander was
saying,
inter-
HBO was that network, Jim. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm just saying you making like Vander was really.
He had great fights, Jim.
Yeah.
Some
Now-
of the biggest pay-per-views,
Do you think
including
that's right?
Evander. What are you talking about?
But he wasn't. They like knockouts. Vander.
But his fights were exciting.
He
People
fought.
still talk about him and
Evander
Riddick Bowe.
Fought. You
Something
punched him
always
once, he
happened.
fought.
Who?
Evander.
Oh, that's still
Riddick, Evander.
Yeah.
Tyson,
I've never-
Evander.
I've
Lennox
never-
Lewis,
I've-
Evander.
I've-
Stop it.
The people that I hang around ain't mentioned Riddick Bowe's name in 40 years.
I didn't say Riddick Bowe. I said
You
Evander.
said Riddick
I
Bowe.
said
No, with
Evander with Riddick.
With Evander.
Evander with Lennox. Evander
They don't
with
talk about
Tyson.
that with that guy, the parachute. They don't talk about
parachute
that
guy.
fight.
The people do talk about the parachute.
And when
And
Evander,
people talk about
the
Galata Bowe
the
because he kept
parachute
hitting
was
with
the
a
star.
that dude was clocking him. Remember?
and Galata Bowe when Galata tried to make sure he didn't have
I'm
any
talking
kids with all the low
Evander.
blows.
You always trying to put Evander in there. Evander was just
Evander's
okay.
still a legend.
He was
Evander's
okay. He was a
50 years
warrior
old and he
with
packed an
12
arena.
losses.
But look
And he
who
still
fought.
packs an
Look who he
arena.
fought. Well, great questions. Thank you.
Chisora.
No, that's your boy. That's
Stop.
thing now. Thank you, Victor from Rhode Island. Thank you, William from New Jersey.
Great
Thank you,
questions.
Heidi from Las Vegas. As always, we do everything we can for the fans by request. We're going to name that segment by request.
Yeah,
All right.
that was excellent.
As always, we hope you enjoy your show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.